Hello, everyone. Can I get you all to give your head a good pat? Great. Give it a rub, mess up your hair a little. And I want you to turn and look at the partner beside you. Say hi. How's it going? Now, I want you to think, okay.
I don't know.
No, oh, okay.
No. I want you to look at your partner, and if you feel comfortable, give them a good pat on the head. Okay. Mess it up a little bit. There we go. Fellow Toastmasters, honorable guests, there are a lot of things in society where people tell us to do something and they pressure us to do it whether we want to or not. And a lot of times we'll obey, as you have all shown me. We don't want to stand out more than anybody else, and we don't want to look different than anybody else. Often if we do, we are deviant, we are wrong, there's something wrong with you, you look funny, or people don't want to associate with you. The reason I bring this up is there's a topic that I was given for school the other day. And the topic is why women are feeling more pressure to have children when they don't necessarily want to. And I thought that was really interesting because I'm 27 years old, and I often face a lot of people telling me, well, when are you going to have kids? You know, your clock is ticking. You're going to run out of time soon, then you won't have them. And while I haven't made the decision, I find I face a lot of pressures from a lot of people, including family, friends, and people I don't even know. And when I was reading this book from my class, they mentioned that a lot of women will either feel pity, or they'll feel that people are discriminating against them, or will exclude them. And even it goes to as far extremes as them being violently treated, or losing their jobs over not having children. And I thought that was so interesting because I thought, well, not having children, you would be more available for work. You would have a lot more opportunity to work. And people would like that. Well, in the book that I read, a few women had been fired because they didn't show, because they didn't have children, people assumed that they didn't have maternal-like behaviors, which then caused them to appear more selfish, more self-centered, and people didn't like that. So, furthermore, how was I going to announce this to a class where it's all young people? And I was like, hey, they might not understand it the same way I do, given that I face a lot of these pressures. And they're still 18, 19. They're probably not quite there with their moms going, so, honey, when's that baby coming? So how am I going to present it to them? And I thought of using an example like I did with you guys. Well, I told you all to pat your heads. And did you not all pat your heads?
Oh, no, there's a big difference.
Did you not all pat your heads? Then I told you to do something that you probably didn't want to do at all, is touch somebody else and pat their head, which is another boundary that we're invading and we're passing through. So when somebody comes up to you and says, so you're going to have a kid, right? And you haven't made that decision. Right? You're probably like, well, no, maybe, I don't know. So why are so many women feeling pressured to actually do so and not necessarily want to? And when they choose not to, why do they feel like to be ashamed of it? And so I want to bring a call of action towards everybody here in the room is when you're with somebody and they don't necessarily have kids, to maybe remember that asking them is probably not necessarily the most appropriate conversation to bring up, unless you know them really well and that's a normal conversation with you guys. But it's something that I notice a lot of people come up to me and ask, and I find I get very, what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of defensive about, because it's a decision I haven't made, so I don't feel like I have to give everybody the answer for. Furthermore, some of the things that I would like to point out that were in my reading as well that I thought was really cool was a lot of women who decided not to have kids and said it was because of biological reasons, they just couldn't. People would pity them and feel sorry for them. Whereas women who chose to actually not have kids out of a decision, people would be angry with them and frustrated with them and wonder what was wrong with them and why they chose not to do that. Where there are some people who just end up choosing a path that doesn't have it. Fellow Toastmaster?